Hey, this is James, November Zero Whiskey Radio Lima, and today I'm going to give you an overview of how to log your contacts and use World Radio League. So whether you're brand new to ham radio and you're just learning how to log contacts in the first place, this video is going to help you out. Or if you are an experienced ham radio operator but you haven't used World Radio League yet, this video is going to help you get started so you can learn the basic functionality, the settings, and the logging that's available within the World Radio League. So without saying any more, why don't we just go ahead and hop in and start logging. So from your homepage, you can log in for free at worldradioleague.com. And you've got a few options to get started logging, like a new general logbook. This is just a shortcut to sort of hop in. But if you hop over to the log contacts page, this is the main page where you're going to see all of your logbooks for logging. So you have a view of your logbooks, but you also have the QSO manager where you can view all of your contacts within one place. So generally when you're logging, you want to create a new logbook. A logbook can be used just for all of your contacts in general, or it can be a specific contest like Field Day or CQ Worldwide, or it could just be anything you want it to be. So why don't we just go ahead and create a new logbook, and I'll just click new logbook. From here, when you're creating a logbook, you can give it some settings and a name. So I'll just call this James's demo log. You can decide what template you want to use for the new logbook. If you're new to World Radio League, just keep the default template, but we're always adding different templates that you can use. So there's an all fields logger that's more complete. There's a POTA logger. You can even click the view templates and you can preview what some of those different templates might look like. But for now, we'll just stick with the default. You can add activities. So the activities is like Parks on the Air or SOTA, where you're maybe out at an activity site, let's say a park, and you want to add information about that park so that you can export that data later, add activities. And here is important is adding your location. So adding your location to the logbook does a couple of things, but the main thing is that it helps with the mapping and accurate location tracking. So you can get a beautiful map of all your contacts and you can track data like your propagation and statistics. So I have a saved location of my home, which is where I am now, but let's say that I was out and about on the go. I could use like a find my location, or I could select my state, my grid, things like that, and I'd be able to update to a custom location, or create and save a new location too. But I'm just going to keep my saved location of my home. Click save. I call it James's demo log. And now I am into the basic logging interface. So let's just get an overview of what's in this logging interface here. So of course, here's your main logging interface where you can type in your call sign. So if I'm making a contact with N4BFR or maybe N0APX, I'll type their call sign in and I can click tab to go through the different fields. We also have cat control where you can automatically read and write your frequency from your radio. And you're going to see that users' details are going to pop up in the call sign lookup with the distance to the contact, the azimuth, the number of times you've contacted, and the last time that you made contacts with this user. Let's put a frequency in and click enter, and now I've just logged the contact. So their main contact interface is here. You have this bar across the top, which you might be wondering, what is this? And this is actually an innovation that we made here at the World Radio League. We call this the quick settings bar. This allows you to update settings about your logbook in a really easy to use fashion. So let's say that you want to change your location to a custom location or another one of your saved locations. You can do that easily through the quick settings bar. You can also update your radio and your antenna. So if you go ahead and tell World Radio League what radio antenna you're using, we're going to save that on the logbook and the log records so that later you can go back and analyze which contacts you made with each radio and antenna. We're constantly building out more analytics here. And here where it says default WRL, that is your logbook template. So notice what happens when I change to the all fields and click save. The template has changed. We're even adding the ability to customize the template soon, but that makes it really easy to update your template. Here you have your log. So these are all your contacts. You can edit contacts right from here, or you can click in to the eyeball icon and you can view those contacts. You have your spotting network. So here from spotting, right now most of the data is pulling from POTA. We are working on adding other spotting clusters, but you can filter your spots. You can change which band you're looking for users on, which mode. You can filter for DX only. You can even have a map view of the spots, a table view, a grid view, and you can even add a spot another user right from here. If you double click any of the spots, it's going to copy that data over to your logbook. I'm going to switch back to the default WRL logbook template. But let's say I double click this spot here in Italy. It copies those details over to my logbook automatically, and then I can log straight from here. A few other things to know. There's these little bubble looking things below the logger. What is that? Those bubbles are actually secondary fields. So let's say that the main logbook template doesn't have the time in there, but you want to edit the time. The time's actually in a secondary field. So before I log this contact, I could come in and say, actually, I'm throwing in a contact from yesterday in here. I can change the time on the logbook and update that. And then when I log that contact, it's going to change the day that the contact occurred. And now once I log that, it's going to default back to the current time, right? But you can see the previous contact now goes to that other day since I changed the date field. If you're doing POTA, their park number makes it really easy to enter in their park number for a POTA hunting. You can change their location. If they give you a different grid square, you can come down into their location and update that. You can set your power. You can drop notes. You know, hey, this was my first contact with Antarctica. If I can spell that correctly, you can click enter, and then now you've got a note that's going to get saved on that contact. And as long as you log that contact, most of these will clear out depending on what the field is. You also have a spot me and a spot them. So when you're logging, it makes it really easy to spot yourself over to the World Radio League Network, or the spot them button to spot the other user over to the World Radio League Network. If this was a POTA log, so I'll just switch over to POTA really quick. I'll add a park number. Let's say this is for when you're doing an activation. Let's say I add a POTA. You can auto spot yourself over to the POTA network without having to open up POTA.app. You just use the POTA auto spot button and send that data right over. As you're logging, you get your map that's built, and you can see that and share it here, but you can also click the share map button, and it's going to generate you a beautiful map view to share that has your statistics, number of QSOs, the bands that you operated, the modes, the DX entities that you worked, and it creates some share links as well as the ability to download that image. And it's going to be tracking your stats as you go too. Up here in the top right, you have a settings where you can go and edit more settings about the logbook. This also has quick links to export your ADIF, to export your Cabrillo, to change your equipment settings and change other settings about the logbook. So a full settings page for that logbook. And then once you're done with that logbook, you can manage it from the logbooks page. You can delete it, you can export it, you can import ADIFs into it, etc., etc. And so those are really the basics of getting started with logging with the World Radio League. There's a lot of functionality here, but the main thing is give it a shot. Come into World Radio League, log some contacts, give it a try. It's also available as an iPhone app, and when you use that iPhone app, it'll sync everything over to the World Radio League on the website too, so it's a fully integrated system. And we're always looking for feedback, so don't be afraid to mash that report a bug button or hop over to the community chat and send us a message or ask us a question. Our team is standing by to help. So this is James, November Zero Whiskey Radio Lima, saying 73, and I hope to get you in the logbook soon.